Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. Today what we're going to talk about is the reality modification technique. So when you look at an object, that object has a vibrational quality to it. And what that really means is that if you think from a mental standpoint, right, if I have a TV screen, right? So say I have a TV screen, excuse me, and then I also have a remote. Those are two different objects. And if I bring those into my mind, I can feel the buttons on the remote and I can feel pressing the button on the TV, two different types of items within which I can conjure within my mind. So when you have items, every single item has a vibratory signature, meaning that I can recall that item that I have found to be physical mentally through my experience of it, right? So my mind can recall the vibratory details of that item. Now, you ask, why is that important? Well, if you look at reality creation from a top-down perspective, right? If you're creating a reality and you want to manifest a bicycle, you can conjure a bicycle in your mind. And now the process for getting the bicycle out of your mind into your physical reality is what manifestation is, right? So it's how do I get this thought form into my physical experience so that I can do whatever I want with it. And the process for that is essentially using your mind to overlay, much like a VR system would overlay onto the real world. Like, have you ever seen augmented reality where they have a VR that interacts with the real world? You want to merge those two realms, right? So if I close my eyes, I have a computer screen here. I can sense that computer screen in my mind, even though my eyes don't physically see it, right? So when I start to interact with the world from an augmented reality type of standpoint, what that means is I'm not just looking at things physically, or I'm not seeing them just mentally. I'm looking at things physically, but I'm also understanding the vibrational nature that translates that thing into existence. So when I see something like a bank account balance, right? Certain amounts have different vibratory signatures to them, meaning that if I have an account with $0, it feels a certain way to have that. And if I have a bank account with $60 million, it feels a different way to have that as well. So understanding the vibratory nature of those things allows me to connect energetically to the realities that possess or do not have those things. Meaning that if I want to change something, I can look at something and I can feel the vibratory signature of it. And if I want to modify that signature because I'm aware of that signature, I can use my mind to replace the signature of that thing with something that is wanted. So a good example of this would be if you have a SP or somebody who is maybe a boss at work or something who's acting, not favorable towards you. That relationship dynamic has a vibrational interplay going on in your mind that may feel not very good, right? And what you'll find is that your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs always come first, and then the manifestations follow. So the real cause of that frenetic disconnection with that individual is in your mental space. There is misaligned energy that is incongruent with your ideal, right? So you go back to the concept of sinning. Sinning means to miss the mark. If you have incongruent energy that's not aligned with what you want, then your goal is to not go externally and change that thing. First, it's to internally clean up that energy and align it to what you want, right? So when you have something external that feels a certain way, has a certain vibratory signature, if you're not understanding of how law of assumption and how law of attraction works, you see that as a fixed reality. Like, that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be until it crumbles away and dies. When you understand that your mental scape has the ability to modify an item's properties through vibration, you can change the way that that thing or person interacts with you. Meaning that if I bring that same person who's giving me trouble into my mind's eye and I reformat my perception of them, I realign my energies to that person either complimenting me or having a great type of assumption about me or something that is favorable to me, that inner work will shift the vibratory resonance within which the physical reality can reflect. So what that is people call that in law of attraction, they call it tuning, they call it alignment. What it really is it's just matching your internal phenomena to a wanted reality. And as we go through this process, what you'll find is the more disciplined you can be about identifying misaligned energies and fixing those things internally, the more mastery and control you gain over the ability to sculpt and modify your reality. So if you have something that is not working out the way you want it to, that is of a vibratory resonance of incongruity or disharmony. So when you have that, what your job is to take that and overlay a feeling of it going the way you want it to go, right? So if you have a bank balance that's at zero, your goal isn't to go out there and just grind all day. Your job is to take the frequency resonance of what it would feel like to have that account full and to affix that as a permanent perspective and assumption in your vibratory field as much as possible. Because what happens is you carry your beingness around with you, right? And your beingness is your I amness, your awareness. So if you look at individuals who have the relationships with like a toxic partner, and they like lose their partner and then they go back and it's like, dude, this person dates the same person every single time. Why is that? Or this person can't keep a job, they keep losing a job, or this person, whatever it is. It's not because the world is stacked against them and these random sequences of events keep unfolding for this person in a particular way. It's because they have a vibratory signature that is ingrained in their being that is continually being reflected back to them in reality. So when you get to the core root of fixing your reality or modifying it the way that you want it to be, what you're doing is you're working on an emotional vibrational scale. And once again, you don't have to use terms like vibration. For me, they just make sense because I'm a smart guy and I like science shit. But you can also use emotional wavelength. You can use emotional grids. You can use feeling states, temporary and permanent feeling states, right? It's all the same stuff. But if you have a resonant type of feeling state that you're chronically carrying around with you, that's the cause of all the problems. It's not the external manifestations. It's the internal state that is producing and manufacturing those things. So when you have any type of circumstance that is not in alignment with your ideal, your goal is to not accept that as reality. You just go, okay, that's a possibility, but I don't identify with that. I identify with this. And then you identify with the changed vibrational property that you develop and focus your awareness on internally, right? So the physical reality won't change immediately when you do that. That's the whole concept of faith, right? The whole concept of faith, broken down to a very simple level, is just loyalty to an unseen reality. What is an unseen reality? An unseen reality is a vibrational reality, right? So a reality is something is real. When it's unseen, you know it's real. Much like if you watch the car key video, I know my car keys are in the other room. I can't see them, but there's 100% chance I'm going to go in there and find my car keys later and drive around. So when you have that internal knowingness, most people are unaware that they can manipulate that realm. And when you manipulate that realm, you can really shape that realm to knowing different things. So in the same way that I know my car keys are in there, I can also insert the vibratory resonance of having a phone in the other room that's linked up to millions of dollars, right? I can feel that without seeing it, right? Now, the key is to persist in that type of resonance until it hardens into fact, right? And the way that you do that is you wean yourself from needing to see physical evidence and you start to rely more on your extrasensory perception or your vibrational nature, which is really just constructing an identity and directing your awareness. So when you have an I am, which is an awareness, it simply is a big awareness that you focus into sectors of reality, right? So focus is selective ignorance, meaning that if I have a goal, I focus my internal awareness as if I already have it in that fourth dimensional vibrational capacity, knowing that third dimensional external physicalized reality is a latent byproduct of whatever that internal resonant frequency is. It's going to magnetize to it people, places, circumstances, and events that are in alignment with that type of harmonic frequency. So if I have a chronic mood of having what I want, Now I've established a really good vibrational feeling state awareness and vibratory frequency that allows me to operate within a domain of ownership of things that I want versus a desirous state in which everything escapes me. So understanding that internal reality is real, constructing favorable vibrational modifications to unwanted situations is how you train yourself. So like if you have a car that has a creaky wheel, instead of going immediately to the mechanic and be like, my wheel's creaky, fix it vibrationally first. Fix it from a vibrational standpoint. Feel the feeling state as if it's already fixed and make that the most important thing. Because what'll happen is your logical brain will kick in and go, this is, no, we need to go do this, That's the monkey mind, right? If you fix it from a vibrational standpoint, you have fixed the ultimate reality. The external reality is simply a reflection, right? So if you fix it at the core, it has to reflect. And that's the whole golden nugget to this whole thing. If you can really get that the internal vibrational reality does reflect 100% of the time, you won't waste any time with external shit. You'll just fix it from a vibrational standpoint, and every single thing that comes to you is now just a tuner. If it sucks and it's horrible, you're like, okay, well, I'll just fix that vibrationally to where it's awesome. And now that's actually a huge gift for me, because now I get a huge upgrade in my reality, because this thing came and contrasted what I currently have and allowed me to evolve and propel my vibrational state to a higher realm. Now, when you do that, what you're going to run up against is that lag time. That's why faith is so harped on, because if you fix it vibrationally, it's already done, and you have the ability to do that immediately. So when you end all suffering, what you do is you immediately fix your problems from that state. You immediately occupy the state of wanted, knowing that the external reality is latent and follows that state. And so now you have that spiritual substance, that internal emotional desire complete, and your willingness to stay in and occupy that state dominantly is what gives it the time in the external world to crystallize and become a new physicalized reality for you. So all day, every day, anything that you don't want, go into that vibrational feeling state realm. Remember, it's like having car keys in the other room. If I have car keys in the other room, I know they're my car keys. How do you know they're there? Well, it's because you have a beingness of awareness of possessing or not possessing, or identifying with or not identifying with things. That is the key realm that you want to operate in on. Now, once you understand that you have that realm, start to play in that realm dominantly, meaning start to feel like if I have a fridge downstairs and I don't have a 6-pack of beer in there, feel like what it would feel like right now if I'm sitting in this chair to have a 6-pack of beer, and just feel that feeling state. Chronically visit that feeling state. And then what'll happen is like on a random day, I'll go and be buying some gas, and then I'll just be like, oh, that 6-pack looked good. And then I'll be like, holy shit, I just put a 6-pack in my fridge, right? Like trivial things like that are the best way to understand the law of assumption, because when you begin to work on little things like that and they manifest, you're like, holy shit, I can use this for big things now too. And you'll run into things that are limiting beliefs, because if you scale different things at different importance levels, it'll slow you down, because a 6-pack of beer in a $100,000 car are both just frequencies. So when you really understand that they're both just frequencies, now you're like, why have I been wasting so much fucking time on things that don't matter? You start to lock into really, really good states of like, I have an abundance of money, I have the perfect body, I am the greatest, because it's all the same type of attention span. There's no bigger or smaller type of frequency. It's all just energetic tags and what you're focusing on. So I hope this helps, guys. If you guys want coaching, click the link tree. It's the best coaching in the world. I guarantee it. You'll love it. Other than that, if you guys want different videos, leave your video titles in the comments. I'm also working on the 12 Disciples of Mind course. I want it to be really good, so please be patient with that. And other than that, go conquer. I'll talk to you in the next one.